Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Norm's Friends on this beautiful, wonderful day today. Summer is back for today anyway. Before I get, naturally, I have Anthony Williams, the renowned artist in Manchester, Manchester's most famous artist. Before I get to that, let me just introduce myself. David B., the readings guy, 603-404-9338. biffid@yahoo.com. That's BIFFID @yahoo.com. Give me a call, get in touch. I'll give you a fantastic reading, blow everyone away. And just, I'm going to let my guest introduce himself, then we're going to come back because naturally I have a few anti-American alerts that I want to tell people they should sort of be on the lookout for. And also, naturally, my famous quote. So, Anthony, take it away.
Oh, I'm Anthony Williams. I'm an artist here in Manchester, have been for quite a few years. I'm not Manchester's most famous artist, but I consider myself a good artist. I will be working on several murals coming up in probably the next week or two. And get outside that apartment and feel a little bit of the heat. But I love doing it. I'm really lucky at my age that I'm still doing murals, and we'll see how it goes. I'll be working with another artist. Then after, we'll be taking pictures, and perhaps if Dave has me back, I'll bring some, and we'll be able to show the people what we're doing.
All right. So, So first, here's my pen. First, naturally, I'd like to start with my famous quote. I love this quote. I love the person who made the quote. One of the best performers out there, entertainers, and you'll see. But here's the quote. Any actress, that's right, actress, who appears in public without being well-groomed is digging her own grave. And just people, please, what you have to keep in mind is goes back to the days when there was only two genders, male and female. So let me read it again. Any actress who appears in public without being well-groomed is digging her own grave. And I'm sure, well, who said this, you might be asking? None other than Joan Crawford. I love that because it's her. And it's the phone already. Good afternoon. Welcome to Norm's Friends. How are you today?
Hi, Dave. Hi, Steve. How you doing?
Steve? There's no Steve here.
I thought I'd get you. Anthony.
Yes. I owe you one.
I thought I'd get you.
All right. How'd you like the famous quote?
That's your secret admirer.
Who is?
Steve.
I don't know a Steve, though. He's whose secret admirer? Mine?
Well, you're going to know one.
Well, is he good looking?
I don't know. It's up to you. I don't know what kind of taste you like.
Does he have lots of money?
I don't know.
Well, that's
for you to find out.
First and foremost, at my age, if somebody's going to catch my fancy, I want to see the greenbacks. You know, I want to be winded. I want to be swept off my feet. I am too. That's why I don't really want to change it for another person. So if another person expects me to change for them, they got to have tons of money. I
knew I'd catch you by saying that, though.
Yeah. I want flowers. I want dinners. I want to be picked up by a limousine. I want it all. I want it all.
That's greedy. I can't be greedy like that.
Well, yeah, it is greedy and selfish. But that's like I'm saying. I'm having the time of my life every day. So if somebody expects me to change for them, there's strings. I'm not, cheap. I'm expensive. You know what they say, don't touch what you can't afford. So.
Ah, you're funny. You have a reading?
I do. I have tarot cards today. No crystal.
No crystal ball. What are you losing the ball?
No, I'm not. I have a guest, so I don't get to do a crystal ball. And last week I wanted to switch it up. So let's do 3 cards, and we'll see what they say this time. How's the dog? Who's had the dog that took it to the vet, by the way?
I don't know.
Hey, what's going on? This one's sort of... I see a little bit of turmoil here, Miss Optimism. First, look at it. First, we start with the 4 of Pentacles. As you could see, it's a guy, and he's sort of... And this is so unlike you, so maybe you're sort of just feeling a little bit beside yourself or just off for a day or two. Cause this
No.
Yes.
I'm okay.
Well, yeah, but...
But you did something like a reading like that last week.
No, last week was psychic, though. This is the cards. The cards don't lie. I'm not saying it's anything major, but something just a little bit different. That sort of, you're pulling your aura in for something, or, something spooked you that you're not the usual outgoing queen of the optimist that you usually are. I don't know why. I can't put my finger on it. But that's all it is. It's nothing major. So there's something going on small. And here we are. See, you're going to have to, you could just shake it off very easy. You could see in this card, it's the 8 of Swords, all right? Look, there's a woman there. She's got a blindfold on. She's bound up. But if you notice, she's not really bound tightly. All she has to do is shake her head and off comes the blindfold. So see, like I said, it's nothing detrimental or nothing strong. I'm just, for some reason, I don't know, you just maybe saw, we say, like, woke up on the wrong side of the bed. Not, but, and of course, as I always say, for people like you, you're unbelievable. You got so much going on, and you're right. I know that you're happy with everything as it is, as I am, just for that reason. And see, like I said, these 2 cards really, it's just to notice this sort of like, we'll say, instead of hovering it around 3,000 feet, you're hovering it around 2,900 feet. But it's nothing that you can't overcome very easily, or, it will probably even go away by itself in no time at all, because here you are, you're full of, with the Strength card, so you're full of warmth, and you're full of, and you do have all that strength in you. Anyone who's as positive as you is loaded with strength. So there you have it. Like I said, I don't know what got you, but something just sort of nudged you off balance, just ever so slightly, just enough to notice. But
what do you mean about these people cleansing themselves?
What?
You were talking about somebody cleansing themselves before I come on the TV.
Did I say anything about? Do you have what do you have? Earplugs in or something? I didn't say anything about people cleansing themselves.
No, you said something about anybody that's this way, that way has to cleanse themselves or cleanse themselves or something.
No, because all I did is I did my famous quote reading. That's all I did. Any actress who appears in public without being well groomed is digging her own grave.
Well, that's the same thing. Well groomed, cleansing.
Nah, well but it's Joan Crawford. I love Joan Crawford. Come on, she was a great actress.
Nobody can't cleanse themselves completely or groom themselves completely.
Well, she didn't say groomed completely. She says well groomed. Big difference. See, that's what it is. See what I just read? You did. Something got you off kilter a little bit. Cause see now you're
Well, it's
putting
the same thing anyhow.
you're putting words in people's mouths now. See, and that's not you. That's not like you. So something did. I don't know. You must have hit a little pothole or something. But you'll straighten out. You'll straighten out in no time at all.
No, no.
Yeah. So there you have it. What about the tree? What's with the tree that I talked about last week?
Nothing.
There must be something.
No. I have beautiful roses coming out of a bush.
No, yeah, but this is a tree. Roses are flowers, dear.
That's what I
Right.
said. That's a bush. That's the only thing I have. I don't have any trees.
Last week you said you had trees. Now you don't have any.
No, I don't have a tree. My neighbor has the tree.
Oh, all
But I
right.
don't have the tree. I never said I had a tree.
You did last week. Too funny. So are you? So let me ask you a question now. You gonna watch the infomercial tomorrow night?
No.
Why? You know the infomercial I'm talking about, don't you?
I'm not watching anything.
Oh, me either. You know the January 6th. What is it? Their committee, their special committee. They're doing their primetime infomercial tomorrow.
I don't get into that stuff.
Me either. Thank God. I don't either. See, that's why we're fortunate. I haven't put the TV. Are you ready? I haven't had the TV on in my house 3 days now. 3 days, no
I'm going to let you
TV.
go because I don't want to take up your whole show.
All right, enjoy.
You have a wonderful night.
Thanks, and you. Bye. All right, so cleansed. All right, so now that we've got the reading done right at the beginning, let's do several anti-American alerts that I think everyone should be aware of. So, as Judge Judy would say, put on those listening ears. The first one, and this goes to how ignorant Americans are. This was on June 2nd, so last Thursday, I believe. The president says, quote unquote, rights aren't absolute. And you know, they have no regard for the Constitution, right? Rights are absolute. They're written in the Constitution. Our country was founded on the Constitution. Mr. President, yes, our rights are absolute. You may not like them, but that's too bad. They are absolute. All right, here's another one. Here's another anti-American idiot. Representative David Cicilline, or however you say it, from Rhode Island. What is he coming out with the other day? Quote, unquote, spare me the BS about constitutional rights. You know, they think just because they don't like them, they can't have them work totally for their vantage point. You know, this is what they do. The Constitution doesn't matter. Yes, it does. You got to be out there standing up and using your voice. Otherwise, the Constitution will be BS. All right. Here's another Biden's diabolical plan. Here's another one. Bureaucrats to grant asylum now at the southern border, not judges. In other words, federal employees. So somebody that's emptying the trash cans on a federal park now grants an illegal who's above the law asylum. So they can get $45,000 or more benefits a year. And let's not forget the free, well, they used to call them Obama phones. I guess they're Biden phones now. All right. Here's another this really gets me. Now, if this doesn't move you one way or the other, there's definitely something wrong with you. All right, this is going on about some of the gun laws now that they want, right? Think about it. They want to change the law so you have to be 21 to buy a gun. not 18, but 21, all right? So in other words, at 18, you're not mature enough to buy a gun. But think about this. But at 6 years old, you're mature enough to decide your gender. I mean, come on. Will you? Grow up. Grow a pair, as I always say. You know, get a backbone. Speak up, use your voice. This is absolutely ridiculous. And here's a quote. Yes, it's out of the Bible, but I'll read it, and it is true. If a kingdom is divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. That's exactly what these woke, progressive lefts are doing. In other words, Obama 3, which is, let's face it, this is the agenda that's going on now. It's not Biden, it's Obama. Dividing the kingdom because they want to see it fall. All right, just a couple of more. Let's see. Oh, I love this one. Here's another one that naive, uneducated, illiterate, dumb Americans believe it because they see it on TV. I'm at the gym this morning. Naturally, they have like 5 or 6 TVs on different channels. Thank God, no volume. So I'm just happen to be watching one, and it's naturally because it's Pride Month, all right? And so first it starts, and there's a young black girl, and she's running down the street with the rainbow flag, and naturally it's a whole block large, and it's waving in the air because she's running with it. And then it shows rainbow flags on buildings, and then it comes from the background, and the lettering gets bigger and bigger, and it says, "Pride is universal," which makes me laugh. Try running down the street with a rainbow flag in Iran and see what happens to you. Try to marry somebody of the same sex in China and see what happens to you. Try to kiss someone of the same sex on the street in Saudi Arabia and see what happens to you. Even mention the fact that you might be interested in something like that in any Muslim country and see what happens to you. The only pride that you're going to be celebrating is when you pass on from getting stoned to death. So much for that. And plus, all the embassies are flying the rainbow flag, right? Why? I don't know. Why anybody has to have something special is beyond me, because it's not equal. We have one flag, the American flag. It stands for freedom. Why do you think everyone in the world wants to come here? Get over yourself. And then just one last thing. They arrested some nitwit down in Maryland, a block or two away from Judge Kavanaugh's house. He was going to assassinate him. Isn't that nice? Typical woke, though, because they don't get their way. Anyway, anybody, comments, questions, ideas, 603-640-3091. Anybody, you want a reading, 603-640-3091. Now, he's been waiting patiently here. He hasn't said one peep. Anthony, take it away.
Put my input.
Yes.
I just think it's, how should I put it? It's, face it, what's happened to America in the last 2 to 3, 4 years, we're definitely, this country is falling. There's no doubt in my mind we're falling. I think that some of the incidents that have happened and the outcome is ridiculous. There's a lot of people that, in my opinion, should be in court, in jail, and are being released. And this, what we have at the border is totally un-American. Here we are in one of the worst recessions we have had in 50, 60 years, and we're going to give these people $45,000 a year in benefits, the right to vote without an ID. They don't. It used to be, you you had to speak English. You had to wait. You had to go through a process. And I don't see anything wrong with that. And I have to add that my grandparents went through this, and they thank God that they did. And so do I. I see the family being torn apart nowadays. The family is not what it used to be. And then you get so mad if you care, you get uptight. And people say, oh, don't let the world get you down. But the thing is, when you pay attention to what's going around just in this country, let alone the world, you see a lot of things that just aren't right. I never thought that I'd live long enough to see more than 10 different sexes. I never thought that I'd live long enough to see a strong male. Yeah.
I don't know what sex I am today.
Yeah.
Poor me.
It's the last time I went to the doctor's office.
God.
He said, I remember.
I'm glad that I'm not close to a wall.
Yeah, real nice guy. But he says, well, Anthony, he says, we live in these days. You can, about your sex preference and have you had sex lately? And so I answered him like, well, sex is history. When you get a certain age, you just, it's bye-bye time. But I almost told him that I was an alpha -6 2/3 minus a squared, and I only got sexually aroused when there were more than 2 grasshoppers in someone's yard. But I just didn't have the heart to do it. But to me, there'll always be 2 sexes. Hence, we're on the planet. Without female, man would have killed himself off a long time ago. To me, women are a gift. And every time I see these young people that are being exploited, when you're 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 years old, they start. It's brainwashing, and it's something to me, and I'm not afraid to use the word. There's no doubt in my mind that it's satanic. There's no doubt in my mind. You don't take a child and tell them, well, you're biologically a female, but, well, if you feel you're in the wrong body, don't be afraid to say anything. You may be a male, So now, using unscientific principles and taking over the role of parenthood, the school system is way, way out of line. I was warned about this years ago when I was on the art commission here in Manchester. I ran into a school teacher, and she gave me a book to read, and that's been 4 years, 3 years, whatever, since I've been on the commission. But everything that was in that book is coming true. When you take away the rights of the parents, because when I was growing up, I didn't think about my sexuality. I didn't even know what it was about until I was maybe 15, going on 16, going on 17. Then your hormones say, hey, guess what? She's not playing with little dolls again. She's 13, 14 years old, and you start to get a little attracted there. But it's a decision that you make, your body makes, your mind makes, and I don't like the idea of the school systems moving in on the parents and doing this behind their backs. I don't like what they're doing at Pizza Hut and what they're going to start doing. I definitely don't like what they're doing at Walt Disney. It's almost like somebody said, okay, here we go, we're going to have a big satanic celebration, and we're just going to inject all this immoral stuff. It's ungodly to me. Well, that's my opinion.
Well, it is, and it is satanic, but it all goes, think what you will. There's Muslim Brotherhood advisors in the White House. That's why they're grooming these kids. All right? It's satanic. They say no. Muhammad married a 6-year-old girl. Think about it. That's all you need to know. That's Islam. Mm-hmm. And that's what they're pushing. Prove me wrong. That's what they're pushing.
Yeah, they can marry as young as 8, 9-year-old now. I know that. I never thought that I'd ever see it so right in my face. We've always had through history people that said, "Hey, oh, you got the phone."
Wow. Good afternoon. Welcome to Norm's Friends. How are you today?
Yeah, good, thank you. And I want to ask you something.
Yes.
In all seriousness, when you read in the paper or you hear about it, if you threaten somebody with bodily harm, what would happen to you?
Yeah, well, exactly. You know, I'd be arrested in no time. No time.
You'd be arrested in no time, you said?
Yes.
Okay, now here's this here. Now, we have this man that says, I want to tell you, Mr. Kavanaugh, you will pay a price and you won't know what hit you. He said that Schumer. He said
Schumer,
that to,
Senator Schumer, that's
Supreme
right.
Court guy. And how come he's never arrested? He actually threatened in front of the world to do bodily harm. He says you won't know what hit you. And how come he's it just doesn't make sense. Nothing happens to him. Nothing happens to Hillary. She got that laptop with secret classified stuff. Then you got that Biden, and his old man was implicated in there. And nothing happens to all these people, So
right.
I just want to let you know that no one is above the law. That's a lot of baloney. Thank you so much, and take care.
Thank you for calling. Bye-bye.
See, there's somebody that is paying attention to what's going on.
Yeah.
Like I can't believe Sussman was just, okay, you're free, go. They've already proved without a doubt that that election was stolen, and by eyewitnesses reports, which they tried to keep from the media, Donald Trump did not say, hey, charge, and let's tear this government down, and let's do this. I mean, it's totally BS. But people haven't realized that most mainstream media they're not telling us the truth. They're taking a long time to tell us a lot of BS. If you're on the internet and they don't like if you're talking about God, they're trying to push you off. If you're trying to stick to the morals that you grew up with, you're old-fashioned. You see, like I said, 10 different sexes running around. And our government is even going to say you want to get a passport, and it could be on your driver's license that you don't even have to pick a sex. So you wonder what's going on and how this all just suddenly dropped on the world, where what was good is now bad and what was bad is now good.
It's their plan to destroy America, Anthony.
Right.
No question about it. It's a plan, and it's working. They're implementing it, and everybody's just sitting back. They couldn't care less. It's a shame.
If you dig into the Bible, which I have, I'm not a, quote, Bible thumper. I'm not a Bible scholar, but I'm someone that's reading it, and I'm going to make sure I go through every book there, and I have had this hunger, whatever, for a long time. In fact, I belong to a Bible study group. But you're going to run into, when you do, two names. One is Ephraim, and the other is Manasseh. And if you read and study history, which I do, you will find out that Ephraim is England, and Manasseh is the United States, because of all the people, the migrants that moved to this country and went through the process and became U.S. citizens, will be overrun by aliens in the end days. And that they will be taught that good is bad and bad is good. That's Isaiah. And it's true. You know how many pounds of heroin they just got the other day off one person? 131 pounds of heroin. And over 1,204 pounds of fentanyl.
Well, the price will be going down.
It's, these people need to be processed. if you don't have a job now, I'd hate to see you looking for a job in the next 5 to 10 years. They say that a lot of these people are taking jobs that other people don't want. And I believe that that's true. Because people don't want to work for $6, $7 an hour. Because why? Because after taxes, they can't even afford an apartment. They can't afford a car payment. They can't afford this. So now it's $15 an hour. I don't know how official that is. But when I first heard of McDonald's, I was 16 years old. You could buy a hamburger for $12 or 12 cents. I'm
$12.
Yeah, the world. But my point being, you're making 15 an hour, so you're bringing home roughly a little under 600 a week. That's pretty good money, compared to when I first started working. I could make it on $2 a week. I could get into the movie and have a soda and a sandwich and still have 35, 40 cents left over.
Wow.
That was back in the days where the American dollar bill was, taxes were being paid and it more or less evened out. But what we're handing out this government now, $40 billion to the Ukrainians, and then $45,000 a year per immigrant. I mean, at the same time we're going through this huge recession. What is that going to say about the American dollar bill? I just found out the other day Walmart won't take, in Hooksett won't take cash anymore. They want credit cards or...
Isn't that something? I haven't been there since I heard that.
Yeah, we're headed for a cashless society. I know that. I read about that 30 years ago.
No world order.
And it's all getting kind of scary. People need to step up and
use their voice,
use
but
their
they
voice.
Don't. That's what gets me.
Yeah.
They don't. Americans love their rights and they love their freedoms, but they won't speak up to preserve them.
They have this in them, and I remember this myself. Don't worry, the government will take care of it. Well, the government's the one that's causing the problems. I mean, I'm 72 years old, and I'm looking at the family is being slowly dismantled. I'm looking at corporations that are now called people/entities. Think about that one. That's socialism slowly creeping in, and it's doing a very good job. And at the same time, you're letting all these illegals in this country. What are they going to call us if we're still around in another 20, 30 years? Is it still going to be the United States? I mean, I've said it a million times. Too many people have died to keep this country up, viable and alive. And it would be a shame just to say, okay, no more Constitution, no more this. And God we trust, who's he? Take him off, throw him somewhere, and I can tell you where we're going to be. You're going to see hell long before you leave your physical body, right on the earth.
Well, have you noticed the new quarters? I've noticed it on all the quarters too, but now because it's the new quarters that Washington, he doesn't face "In God We Trust." He's got his back to it. Mm-hmm. So what people have to realize is the president is not in the White House in D.C. The real president is in the White House on Martha's Vineyard. Proved me wrong. Everything that's going on now is what he tried to implement when he was president. They didn't work then. Well, they did work in the sense that hates America and he hates white people, so he's getting back at both of them at the same time. He tried all these agendas and policies before to do it, and they started the wheels turning, and now he's back doing the same thing, but it's on steroids now. And I pray to God that people wake up come November when they go to the voting booths.
Midterm elections will say a lot.
I hope so.
There's another person that's dead around the Clintons. That's 40 so far.
Nice.
Including 2 FBI agents. And they say this guy, he committed suicide, just like the ambassadors from Haiti that come over and testify about child sex trafficking with the Clinton Foundation. Both of them are shot in the back. And the report said suicide. He's shot in his motel room in the back, and then, of course it was suicide. The guy was probably trying to take a shower with some soap or something, right? And he accidentally grabbed his gun and shot. It just gets weirder, and there's just too much going on.
There is.
And you can't sack, and really, if you present people with facts, face it, it's like this guy threatening the judge there. It's what's going to happen now? What's going to happen to this guy? Was it Mullet there, the actor, who claimed that he was accosted and that he had something poured over him? What's his name there? The guy, the actor, the black guy,
I don't know.
Well, somebody's going to. He turned out to be obviously lying. And he was supposed to get a jail sentence, but I don't think he has.
Oh, Jussie Smollett.
Yeah. I
the
mean,
Chicago boy.
His story just gets really, really strange, where he out and out lied, and even the police, and they can't say it was a racial thing because the police captain was black, and he headed the investigation, and he's the one that said that he made all this up. There's absolutely no proof. And the reason that he did that, they suspect, because he was having trouble with people in Hollywood, and he'd sent them some kind of nasty letter, and one thing led to another. And, our country has one shooting, then another shooting, then another one. It makes me wonder, without a hit, this is all being done on purpose. They're trying to make a point. There's more to this involved than we are seeing on TV or reading in the newspaper. There's something going on.
There is, but Americans love their TV. If it's on TV, they believe it.
Right.
They believe it. So just like tomorrow, the infomercial, I love it. The attempted coup of the insurrection. Give me a break.
Yeah.
They're doing everything, and I hope it backfires on them. But they're doing everything. They can dish Trump and the Republicans, and I love it. I can't believe that Americans are so dumb that, everything. You got all these progressives on the networks now, and that's all planned just to give you propaganda to take the country down. Every one of them will tell you about white supremacy and the conservatives are this, and they're trying to take away the democracy, and they're trying to cheat on the voting, and this. It's everything that they're doing and or have done already, and are contemplating doing again. But they're just saying it the other side, and people are just, I really don't like the conservatives anymore because they're all white. I mean,
there's
telling you, who needs drugs with what's going on today? I mean,
people. I like. I'm neither Democrat or Republican. I'm a independent now. I got out of the Democrat Party. I voted for Obama the first time.
And me.
Within 2 years. And after the dust settles, you realize that he's not really black. And that
That's true. I know, he's not.
Was born in Kenya. His own grandmother says that. Instead of Hawaii. And they had such trouble getting his real birth certificate. And then you wonder about his children now, and is his wife transgender? According to the police department in New York City, she is, because of a driver's license. But we won't go there. Or, there's so many things that Pizzagate with Clinton and what's his name, Poston, John, whatever there.
Pizzagate. What's Pizzagate?
Well, it was, believe it or not, if you dig deep, it all has to do with Satanism. That's all.
Oh, well,
it's they're literally killing children. You'd have to get on the internet before and follow that. There's a lot of they're trying to make indictments and they're trying to do this and that. We'll see how far that gets. Like anything else, one thing I've noticed is the offenses against young children, the sexual offenses, the pedophilia that's rampant. I mean, it's always gone on since day one, but now more than ever, that just makes my skin crawl when I think about leave the kids alone.
I can't stand kid touches.
Leave the children alone. You don't tell a 5 and 6 year old kid, well, you may be a girl if you're a boy, or you're maybe a boy if you're a girl.
It blows me
Even
away.
Bruce Jenner came out, and he's against all this too. But then I have to look at him and I say to myself, what came to your head to make you feel that after all these years as a male and
gold
that you're
medalist.
A female now? Yeah. It just, you have to...
one too many hits of LSD.
Something there. I mean, I believe what the Bible says. Male and female, he created them in his image. That means that God has 2 arms, 2 legs, and a head. That's what I get from it. When Christ walked the earth, same thing. But I look at today, and it's just, I didn't think people would buy this. I didn't really think that they would believe all this stuff. And once they open that flood, that door, look what it's become. It's become that teachers will get fired if they don't agree with it and use a special pronoun.
If they don't call them a they.
Yeah.
You can't say her or him. It's a they.
But don't they see that when they call a human being a they, how degraded that human being becomes?
That's the point.
And exactly. It's called Marxism. It's called we're all on this planet together. Nobody needs to make a huge profit. We'll take care of you. You just do what you're told.
Well, Elizabeth Warren, she wants to take over the oil companies now.
She is, it's capitalism. I mean, gone down the tubes.
Yeah, that's all it is.
It's socialism. Look what's going on in Venezuela. I mean,
that's how Venezuela got there,
right.
Once they took over the oil companies.
And you look at it this way, too. If socialism is so great, then why are they coming to America? Why? Because they're going to get something for free.
Lots of stuff for free. Hey, let's change the subject real quick because I'm excited about this, Anthony.
About what?
Well, I'll tell you.
Okay.
As soon as it rolls off my tongue. I think it's June 11th, so it starts Saturday until June 18th. It ends Father's Day. Bike Week in Laconia. Are you ready? Of course, I never went, right? Here's a funny story. I never went, and I never really knew when it was, the dates, right? But I knew there was Bike Week, obviously growing up in Massachusetts. Well, after I moved up here, last year, it was the funniest thing. I just got up one day, I didn't have any plans, and I just said, I want to take a ride to Laconia. So I take a drive up to Laconia. It was Bike Week. I never saw so many motorcycles on one block. Never mind, I never saw so many motorcycles in one block in my life. Never mind the whole place.
Highway, yeah.
It was unbelievable. I loved it. So I'm going to do it next week. I'm going up during the week, though, because I don't want to go, like, on the weekend. I think it'll be a little overwhelming. And, they'd probably find me lynched from a telephone pole from hitting motorcyclists.
Yeah.
There's so many of them. My God.
And a shotgun blast to your chest and you commit suicide, right?
I know. Well, time me to 4 motorcycles, and they each drive in a different direction, like what Ben-Hur. Remember that movie, The Chariots?
I mean, we're fed this false narrative, and they take everything that they can to make it look just the opposite. Like, you're a racist if you say this, or you're a hypocrite if you believe that, or you're out of date, you're way behind the times,
or you're a white supremacist.
Right? Yeah. I grew up Well, I was born in Boston, but I grew up
I know where
mostly
that is.
in Indiana, and the Ku Klux Klan was very prevalent down there, and they still are. Not just Indiana, Ohio, a couple places, really prevalent. And I learned about these so-called white supremacists, and I also know that in 1978, the American Nazi Party and the Ku Klux Klan more or less joined to be one big happy group. I do not support any kind of white supremacy because I don't believe there's any race that is superior to any other race. I believe that we're all on this planet. God put us here for a reason, and a lot of people just haven't figured that out yet. He's given us enough brain power. This is our best computer, believe it or not. You can spy on yourself and unplug some parts of the world, whereas when you're on your own computer at home, forget it. Everybody knows who you are, where you are, what you're doing.
Hey, you just, when you talk about life and all that stuff, I was just, deciding famous quotes from celebrities. Here's another one, and it stuck in my head. You just brought it to the surface again. This is a quote by Morrissey. I don't know if he's the lead singer for the Smiths in the 80s, but now he's been solo for a long time. I happen to like the guy, his music. But anyway, I was reading quotes, and one was it was a longer quote, a couple of lines, but part of it was, life must mean something, like he's talking about trying to figure out life, and it must mean something, or why is it here?
Right.
Right? So it must.
Yeah, there's definitely a reason that we're here. What I have seen is man has reached that pinnacle of higher intelligence, the knowledge that he has now. I mean, face it.
Excuse me.
It doesn't take a scientist to figure that if we do have a nuclear war, it's not going to last very long, and it's going to kill billions, not just hundreds, but billions of people in seconds. It's something that we need to be aware of, but not necessarily over worry about it. But we have to realize where we are on this planet. We're headed for a new world order. We're headed for a one world government. I don't know at my age if I'll see it fully implemented, but I sure see the building blocks that are being put there by the Economic Forum. They've got it all planned out. They've got it all planned out what you're going to be doing and what you're not going to be doing. They've already got planned out that they're already experimenting with artificial intelligence. China and Russia just signed a huge, huge agreement for that, where they're going to put together, and we're doing the same thing, just like they're doing in Britain and France, a couple other places around the world, where they're going to put half human, half robot together. And robots will be taking over jobs by the year 235 to 40. 45% of the world's working class people will be out of a job. That's scary.
So, yeah, but so it sounds like it's going to be like all these old horror movies that we saw, right? The Cyclops, Night of the Zombies, right? You'll be having to figure out who's half human and half fake. And you have to blow them away. So, see, there's another reason why don't let them take your guns away. Speaking of taking guns away, because we don't have a whole lot of time, I just want to touch a little bit about it. How ridiculous it is, because right away they say, to secure the schools, put armed guards in there. No, they don't want to hear it. They want your guns. Why? I've seen a couple of funny posts on Facebook. One of them was, why after 243 years does the government want to take your guns away? Could it be that they're going to do something to you that you'll want to shoot them for? That was one. I saw, here's another funny post. This one's about gender, Anthony. I was laughing when I read it. It says, this is for these gender people that, it says, are you confused about gender? Try milking a bull. and you'll learn real quick, which I like that
That
one.
reminds me of the show that was on 2 nights ago on Andy Griffith. That's exactly what happened. I don't know if you remember this one, but get this. There's somebody that is stealing cows
What's this on the Andy Griffith
on the
show?
Griffith show.
Yeah.
All right. And they go to and they investigate it, and Andy calls in somebody from the state, and the mayor's involved, you know, the same cast of characters. So they're investigating, and they're watching footprints. So they know that there had to be 3 men involved. They had to, that are stealing these cows. So they go in, and the mayor, he's all upset because Andy's not doing his job, and what makes he think. And Andy tries to push some common sense into them by telling them that, notice you've got 3 set of footprints made by, quote, 3 pairs of shoes or boots. But where are the footprints of the cow? I believe they're putting the shoes on the cow. So they're outside and they're talking. All of a sudden you can hear this noise of a bull, and he's not happy. And this old man is yelling and screaming. He's the culprit. And sure enough, they arrest him. And Andy looks at him, and he looks at the farmer, and the farmer goes, "Oh, it is true." He says, "You're looking at a man that tried to put boots on a bull."
See,
But it just it was
that's funny.
just so, you know, common sense here.
And then, yeah, a couple more things, you know. Where did I read it? I think it might have been on Facebook too, but it was talking about, you know, the Dems, they want the gun grab now naturally. And it was a couple of things. One of them said, you know, Cain and Abel. This goes way biblical times. Cain and Abel. When Cain killed Abel with a rock, God didn't blame the rocks. He blamed Cain.
Right.
So that's one. Then, after 9/11, when they drove the planes, flew the planes into the World Trade Center, did they ban planes? No. What did they do? They secured and fortified the cockpits. So why? And end of problem with that. So why? This is my question. Why do they absolutely refuse to fortify and secure schools? And you know, the way I look at it is, if everybody exercised their Second Amendment right and everybody was carrying a firearm, there'd be way, 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 way less crime than there is now. Prove me wrong if anybody can. 603-640-3091. I bet you can't. Because you can't. Really. If you're gonna rob someone or shoot someone, right? I'm going to go into the store and shoot them up. But if you think, wait a minute, they might be armed. I don't care who you are. If you think your life might be in jeopardy, you're going to think it over and over and over before you go in there.
The background checks, it's like they should have just followed the rules. But a lot of this happens because people that are selling the guns aren't following the rules. I mean, buying 800 rounds in one day, 2 different rifles in one day, there's no background check that's being enforced.
Anthony,
Wow.
good afternoon. Welcome to Norm's Friends. How are you today?
I'm fine, sir, and how are you?
Hey, Mr. Whoopee, I'm doing wonderful. What's on your mind today?
I was having a discussion the other night with the other half, and I said, how many mass shootings have they had in England and France?
They've had them. Look at France. They plow them down over there.
They had a concert, and it was taken over by some terrorists
That's right.
a few years ago.
Yep. I remember that. That's right.
But there's not it's not broadcast over in England. Is it?
No, but, well, England, they took guns away, but people still have guns. There's still shootings there. They just don't talk about them anymore.
Right. And the cops are the only ones that, they don't even have guns.
That's right. And here's another thing, right? They talk about they want to pass all these gun control laws, right? Mexico supposedly has heavy-duty gun control. Look at Mexico with the cartels. Like, you're going to take everybody's guns away except the cartels' guns. It's the same thing here. They're going to take everybody's guns away except the criminals. So, and they're going to empower the criminals even more to do more of that stuff. I mean, it's ridiculous. Anyway.
Well, I just want to talk about the shootings over in England. There's not that many, and they don't broadcast it if they do have them.
Right, but we got to get going because we don't even have 2 minutes left. So, thanks.
Okay, do you get the union leader?
I don't. I don't read any news.
Oh, too bad. You should read the editorial page. They got a picture in there.
Yeah. All right. I'll see if I can do it online. But thanks for calling. We got to run.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye. All right. So, Anthony, quick. Once more, who are you?
Who am I? I am an artist here in Manchester, and I will be working on some murals here in the next couple of weeks or so. And hopefully I'll have somebody be able to film them and have them on the show and show you the positive things that are going on in Manchester.
All right. And once again, David B., the readings guy, 603-404-9338. Biffid@yahoo.com, biffid@yahoo.com. Any comments, suggestions, whatever. You want to schedule a reading, you'll definitely enjoy it. Give me a call. Until next time, remember, you are a winner.